Okay, so I thought the title was that you gave for the talk, How to Have a Life That Matters. I thought that was a really good title. And of course, in thinking about what to say, my first thought was talk about bodhicitta. And then I thought, well, you're all from Vajrayana Institute in Australia. Many of you have probably heard those teachings before. So instead of just going through the 7 points of cause and effect and equalizing, exchanging others, the technique from Shantideva, why don't I talk about how to have a life that matters from a slightly different perspective. Okay. And so the first, what flashed into my mind was Atisha's text, the jewel mala, or the jewel garland. And some months ago, a center, maybe last year sometime, a center in the Netherlands asked me to speak about that text. And we had 4 talks on it, and I got through 4 verses. Whoopee, we were speeding through that text. So I thought to just start again with the 4th kind of review, even though you people haven't heard the first 3, but they're on tubedandchildren.org. You can listen to them. So to start with 4, and then, just see how far we get. And it's fine with this text to start in the middle, because basically what Atisha is doing is talking about all the different kinds of qualities to cultivate as a practitioner and as a good human being. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter which ones you do first and which ones you do second, but rather to kind of work on all of them as we live our life, because different situations necessitate developing different good qualities within ourselves. Okay, so here's verse 4. Atisha says, forsake wealth and honors, at all times relinquish gain and fame. Have modest desires, be easily satisfied, and reciprocate kindness. That's a tall order, isn't it? The first 2 lines, forsake wealth and honors, at all time relinquish gain and fame. What's he talking about there? 8 worldly concerns. Yeah? So, the 8 worldly concerns, which, Lama Zopa Rinpoche stresses, I want to say ad infinitum, but there's is good. Yeah, usually you say, somebody does something ad infinitum, like, why don't they stop? But Rinpoche, really stress this again and again and again, and it's very important. Okay, so when Atisha says forsake wealth, for example, he's not saying that we should give away all of our possessions and all of our money. Although if you want to, I can tell you where to give it. Yeah, but what it means, what Atisha is meaning, is don't cling to these things. Yeah, don't cling to wealth, for example. Wealth comes and it goes. Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah, we've probably experienced in our lives, sometimes we have more wealth, sometimes not so much. When we're attached to our wealth, we get in a lot of predicaments. And it's very interesting to spend some time and ask ourselves, what is it about money and material possessions? What do those things actually mean to me? Yeah, because, okay, they may mean the ability to get what I want, material things that I want. But also, yeah, and we have to check within ourselves. Sometimes money means freedom. If I have money, I can go where I want to. Yeah. Sometimes money means prestige. If I have it, people will respect me. Sometimes money means success. Oh, now my parents will know that I'm not just a dum-dum. Yeah. Sometimes money means love. Yeah. Oh, they gave me a gift. They care about me. Yeah. Sometimes wealth means apologizing. You give a gift to say you're sorry. Huh? So there's many different, wealth takes on many, many different meanings in our life. It's not just to have the money to buy what we want, but it can actually signify a lot of emotional needs. Yeah. And then, oh, if we have wealth, then that solves those needs. So then we get attached to the wealth, and we get miserly, and we don't want to share it, and we look down on people who don't have a lot of wealth. We compete with people who are equal to us. We get jealous of people who have more possessions than we do. Of course, we try and pretend that, we don't get jealous or arrogant or compete, but we do. And so this blocks having a real open heart that cares about other living beings. Yeah, because we're just interested in getting the wealth. And when we don't get it, then boy, we go slightly bananas. I remember, I think it was in the 2008 recession, in Volkswagen, the company in Germany, they lost a lot of money because of the recession. And one of the people, I think he was either on the board of directors or some kind of high executive in Volkswagen. Anyway, when all the Volkswagen stock went down, he killed himself. Yeah, because he felt like, well, I don't know why he killed himself. Is it that he thinks I won't have any money and I'm going to be poor? Or does he think, oh, other people are going to be upset with me because the stock went down? But for somebody to kill themselves and take their life over the loss of money, that is really sad. Yeah, but it happens. Yeah. And that, of course, is something extreme. But to get wealth and to preserve it, we will go to incredible lengths to do that, and lie and steal and manipulate people and deceive them and all sorts of things. Yeah, to get what we want and avoid losing it. Okay, so the important thing here is to really look in our own lives and be honest about what wealth means to us, what it signifies, and also to observe, how do we relate to wealth? Yeah. Do we get jealous of people who have more? Do we get arrogant over people who have less? Are we competing with other people? Do we measure our our meaning as a human being according to what amount of money we make. Yeah. Okay, so that's the first one, wealth and honors. Okay, here honors is talking about praise, getting praise, getting approval. We all want praise and approval, don't we? And we're very attached to it because when we don't, you know how you can tell the level of attachment you have for something according to what happens when you don't get it. Okay, so you want respect, you want, praise, you want approval. And when you don't get it, when you get blame, when you get disrespected, woo, that can be painful. Yeah, we want to hear nice words. They say nice, sweet, ego-pleasing words. I love you. You're the best one here, the most talented, the most creative. Yeah, you have such a good mind. You're very artistic. Yeah, you can really work with other people very well. You're such a great athlete. On and on. We like to hear that, right? Hello? Yeah. Anybody in Australia like to hear that? Okay, there's 4 people, 5. A few of you who like praise. I guess the rest of you don't mind if you don't get it, huh? Actually, what happens when we don't get it? Yeah, we do a job well at work, let's say, and nobody notices it and nobody comments. I worked really hard on this. I put in so much effort and it turned out well. Come on, tell me how good I am. I need that. Yeah, because otherwise, if I don't hear praise, I don't believe in myself. I don't think I'm a good person. And then we get into all that self-deprecating. Okay. And then the self-deprecation gets exacerbated because instead of getting praised, not only do people forget how wonderful we are, but they blame us and they criticize us. Oh, why are they always noticing my mistakes? Anyway, what I did was not a mistake. Yeah, they gave me the wrong information. It's their fault. Yeah. And even if I didn't read it closely and I made a mistake, it's just a small mistake. You make mistakes too. Why are you criticizing me and picking on me? Yeah. And if you keep doing this, you know what's going to happen? I'm either going to explode and swear at you for the next 15 minutes, or I'm going to walk away, slam the door, and go cry and have a big fat pity party. Yeah, because you don't appreciate me, you criticize me, you blame me. Right? Yeah. Right? Oh, okay, a few people online are nodding. Yeah, I guess the rest of you never make mistakes and never receive criticism. Yeah. Yeah, you're such wonderful people. I've never had an audience this tuned into what I was saying. You happy now? Okay, so similarly with wealth, when we're attached to praise, we have aversion to blame, and we engage in all sorts of behavior, non-virtuous behavior, to get praised and to avoid blame. Yeah. Okay, so the first set of the 8 was attachment to wealth and upset when we don't get it or it's taken away from us. The second one is attachment to honor and approval and upset when we get criticized and blamed. Okay, next, we've made it through one line. Wow. Okay, second line. At all times relinquish gain and fame. Relinquish gain and fame? Gain? Gain? Are you kidding? Gain means sense pleasure. Yeah, beautiful things to see, nice sounds, nice smells and taste and touch. You're telling me to relinquish that to gaining those pleasant situations? Huh. Yeah. But that's the purpose of my life. And if I am not physically comfortable, you're going to know about it. Okay. How? Well, I am very talented at complaining, and I will let you know if I am uncomfortable. Okay. So, yeah, you're all in a Dharma center. Okay. Do you have a meditation cushion that is totally perfect and always comfortable? Raise your hand if you have if you found the one and only meditation cushion that is always comfortable. I don't see any hands. Anybody here? One person. Yeah. She sits on the floor without a cushion. So, yeah. But, if something smells bad, if it's too hot, if it's too cold, yeah. Maybe that's why when we do retreat, we have the rule that if you get up in the middle of a session, your session doesn't count. Maybe there's that rule so that people don't get up and open and close the window whenever they want it, hotter or colder. Because if there wasn't, we would get up and open and close the window, wouldn't we? It's too hot in here. It's too cold in here. I'm going to turn up the heat. No, you're not. Okay. My bed's too soft. My bed's too hard. Yeah. My bed is too lumpy. My bed is too flat. Always something wrong. This food is delicious, but yeah, sweet and sour Chinese food, wonderful, but you made it so sour. Yeah, this ice cream isn't sweet enough. Again and again, problems. Okay, so we can spend a lot of time, and we do spend a lot of time, arranging our environment so that we have all the sense stimuli around us that we like and none of the things that we don't like. So then when you go to India for His Holiness Dalai Lama's teachings, you're really challenged. Yeah. You get on the train. It's noisy. It's loud. The toilets stink. Yeah. and you're going, oh, why didn't I just take a taxi to where I'm going? Well, the taxi is bumpy, and it's the taxis in India kind of like uh, riding the Matterhorn at Disneyland. Ooh, whoop. Okay. But we really try, to make our environment totally 100% perfect. Mm. Okay, that's the third one, attachment to pleasant sense stimuli, aversion to unpleasant ones. And then the fourth set, or the fourth pair, is attachment to fame and aversion to disrepute. Yeah. So the difference between praise and fame is praise is what you get one-on-one by somebody you know. Fame is your broader reputation, what people you don't know think about you. Yeah. So, we mind a little bit of fame. Okay, we don't need to be president. We don't need to be Beyonce, or who, I don't know all the latest people, their names, sorry. But we don't need to be them, okay? But just, a little bit of good reputation would be good. Yeah. So that all of you, when you meet other people, you tell them how wonderful I am. Yeah. And, if you have the habit, if your hobby is growing bonsai trees, you want to be known as the expert in growing bonsai trees. Yeah. If you play baseball or football or golf, yeah, you want to even, okay, you're not in the major leagues, but, and you're not Tiger Woods, okay? But just within your little group, you wouldn't mind having a good reputation. Yeah. And if you're a parent, you want to be known as a good mother, a good father who cares very much for their kids. Yeah. So just in the community, the larger community, we want to know that people think well of us. And we don't want to have disrepute. Yeah. So we cover up our big mistakes. Yeah. And the technique I've learned from observing a few politicians is what they do is, instead of, when they make a mistake, instead of owning it, they say that the person who is accusing them has made that mistake. Okay. Yeah. Have you ever noticed that? It's so predominant in the US now, that what do you do when you get criticized? You blame the other person for doing the exact same thing. Okay. And then all the attention goes to the other person. They're criticized and you're not, until they write an article or say something that criticizes you, and then you're back to your own disrepute. It's quite interesting if you watch what's going on politically. It's crazy. I don't know. I think Australia might be a little bit saner than we are here. No, it's not. Okay. Some people saying maybe. I think you have better gun laws there, don't you? Yeah. Yeah. Australia is really good about that. Yeah. You could take over America and change the gun laws. There would be some resistance here. Okay. But what I'm saying is this whole thing, you want to have a good reputation, be known for something. Yeah. Okay, so these are all things that Atisha is telling us to relinquish. Yeah, to just put down. Why? First of all, they don't bring us ultimate happiness and ultimate peace. They're things that are transient. Second, to get them, we often create a lot of negative karma. And instead of experiencing happiness from getting those things, we may feel guilty. We may get arrested. Yeah. We may have a bad reputation. And we create a ton of negative karma that will throw us to an unfortunate rebirth in the future. So it's just not worth it. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to lines 3 and 4. Have modest desires, be easily satisfied. Actually, lots of people think that having lots of desires is what makes their life exciting. Because if they have a lot of desire and they want a lot of things, then they have purpose. And when they get those things, they are so happy. And they think, oh, have modest desires, don't have any aims, don't enjoy life. Then, you're just sitting there like a bump on a log. You should enjoy life. Go on an ocean cruise, climb to the top of Mount Everest. Yeah. Learn to play, what's it called? The new one, pickleball? Pickleball. I have no idea. I don't like pickles. Yeah. But apparently, it's the thing now. Yeah. So they think, oh, having lots of desires, that gives me something to work for. Yeah. And when I get those things, I'm really happy. Yeah. But on the other hand, lots of times, have you gotten what you wanted and you weren't really happy? Yeah. I had a friend in high school. I always talk about him when I talk about this, because it really made a strong impression in my mind. He so much wanted what was it? What? It was like a Lamborghini, but not one. What? A Porsche. That's what he wanted. He wanted a Porsche. And he was totally fired up about getting a Porsche. And he was mad at his dad for not buying one, and every time somebody in a Porsche drove by or even a Lamborghini drove by, he was like drooling at the mouth. He wanted that so bad because he thought that was really going to make him happy. Yeah. So after he graduated from school, he got a job, he saved his money, he got his Porsche. And he didn't live happily ever after. The Porsche did not fulfill everything he thought it was going to fulfill. Yeah. Plus, I think he was in a lot of debt. Yeah, from getting it. Okay, if we have modest desires, then it's much easier to turn our mind to the Dharma. If we have lots of desires, either for material things, for certain kind of relationships, I read in the paper, everybody's looking for love. It's a new phrase. Everybody looks for love. Yeah, when I was young, you fell in love. Now you look for love. So everybody's looking for love. No, not there. Not there. No, I'm looking for love, but I'm not finding it. Yeah. Is love something you look for? Yeah. Or is love something you give? Yeah. If you're looking for love, it's the same old consumer mentality that we have. I want this. Let me find what gives that to me. Okay. So you look around for a partner and you have your little list of the kind of things, they should do and not do. Yeah. And then you meet somebody who's absolutely 100% perfect until he isn't. Yeah. And you're disappointed. Yeah. So love is something we give. It's not something we go around searching for. Yeah. But, when we have very strong desires, then we're totally focused on, I want what I want when I want it. Yeah. And I don't want what I don't want when I don't want it. Okay. And then we live our life through those eyes, trying to always get what we want by hook or crook. Yeah. And again, it really ruins relationships with other people. We create negative karma. And the sad thing is, we remain dissatisfied. And especially if you're a Dharma practitioner, you've just spent all that time looking for some fleeting something in this life, that you may or may not even get. But the time of our precious human rebirth has just gone by. Yeah. So modest desires and be easily satisfied. Okay. So easily satisfied when we do receive something, or when we have something already, we think this is good enough. Yeah. This was actually one of Lama Yeshe's mantras. Good enough, dear. Yeah. Who you are is good enough. What you have is good enough. What you do is good enough. Yeah. Be satisfied with yourself. Being satisfied and accepting yourself the way you are now doesn't mean that you don't try and improve in the future. Yeah. It just means that you stop beating yourself up because you've set a bar way up here that's impossible. Okay. So it's something really to notice and to practice modest desires and be easily satisfied. Yeah. So you start with what you get for lunch. Yeah. Oh, vinegar on the salad again. That's okay. There's a lot of other food I can eat. Yeah. No chocolate chip mint ice cream. That's okay. It's healthier for me not to eat ice cream. Yeah. Quesadillas. Oh, good. That's nice. Yeah. But to just learn to be satisfied. Yeah. And without having this mind that's always more and better, more and better, more and better. That mind is really exhausting. Okay, and then the fourth line says it's 3 words, and reciprocate kindness. Wow, that's a big one. 3 words, a lot to do. Okay, reciprocate kindness. Yeah. Do we reciprocate kindness? Or do we just take what we can get and say thank you and leave it at that? Yeah. Do we really in our heart appreciate the kindness that other people show us? Or do we complain because they aren't kind to us in the way that we want them to be kind? I'm sick. I don't feel good. Yeah, I want some vegetarian chicken soup. But what does somebody bring me? Lentils. Oh, these people, don't they know when you're sick, you give somebody vegetarian chicken soup? What's wrong with you? Okay, so there's no idea there that somebody else has been kind in preparing the food, in bringing it over to you. Yeah, such that when they get back and eat lunch, their lunch is a little cooler. Yeah. And we complain, oh, why'd you bring so much? You didn't bring enough. Yeah, as if they're supposed to read our minds. Okay. Or it's Christmas time and you subtly, ever so subtly, dropped hints about what people can get you. Yeah. And then, yeah, but you just very subtle, not obvious, but obvious enough so that they should know what to get you. And then you, Christmas Day, you open the box. Thank you. You're so kind for getting me this delightful present. What store did they buy it at so I can go return it? Okay. You know, do we appreciate other people's efforts? Yeah. Or do we always want them to do more, or what they have done already isn't good enough? Yeah. So that's just on the basis of appreciating kindness. But this says reciprocate kindness. So don't just appreciate it. Yeah. But, reciprocate it. Lots of times when we hear reciprocate kindness, our mind says, okay, that means when somebody's nice to me, I am obliged to be nice back. Yeah. So reciprocation is not something we want to do. It is something we have to do because society expects it, our family expects it, this other person expects it. They gave us a gift worth $50. They're expecting that I give them a gift worth at least $50. And if I don't, they're not going to like me. So, we think of our reciprocation of kindness as obligation. Yeah, that takes all the joy out of giving. Yeah, how are we ever going to be a bodhisattva that practices the perfection of giving if we can't, in our heart, have appreciation and want to reciprocate the kindness shown to us? Yeah. So that's one problem we have. Another problem is we think reciprocate kindness. That means I have to go to all lengths to reciprocate. Yeah. And so you run around here and you run around there and you do this and you that, and you fix everybody's problems, but of course you have to meddle in their affairs first in order to fix their problems. Yeah. And then you think, oh, I'm reciprocating their kindness. Yeah. But actually, we're forcing our ideas on them. Mhm. Yeah. So we have to really think, what does it feel like in our hearts to really appreciate someone's kindness? And does kindness always come in the form of a gift? Yeah. Kindness sometimes can come in the form of a smile. Yeah. In the form of a pat on the back. There's many ways to reciprocate kindness and to do it really because we care about the other person, not because we owe them something, not because we're obliged. Okay. Obligation like that takes all the fun out of giving. Okay. So just reciprocate kindness. Somebody's nice, I can be nice back. And as an added thing to that line, don't wait for somebody to be kind to us in order to show them kindness. Yeah, take the initiative. And when there's an opportunity in your life to be kind to someone, take that. Yeah. And again, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Yeah. Somebody's car isn't working. Give them a ride to where they need to go. Yeah. Somebody in their family is sick. Make a casserole and bring it over. Somebody doesn't understand how to do something at work. Stop and give them some suggestions. The person at the airline ticket counter is, desperately trying to get you another flight and isn't successful. But instead of, pushing and being rude, to say, thank you, I know you're really trying hard. Yeah. And especially to be kind first without waiting for kindness when you call the customer service of any kind of business. Because customer service is polite language for complaint department. And we usually like to complain because I'm a customer and they haven't served me well enough. Yeah. The poor people. I had a friend who worked for Amazon customer service. I don't know how he survived. Can you imagine at Amazon? You sent me the wrong this and that. This is the wrong size. You sent it to the wrong address. It's the wrong color. Can't your company ever do anything right? Why does it take so long to get here? Somebody's hearing that all day, So these people, especially if we can be friendly to them, yeah, and just be polite and maybe even joke with them, maybe even, wow, say thank you, because probably hardly anybody says thank you when they're talking to customer service. Yeah. So there's many ways to reciprocate kindness and to initiate kindness. Yeah. I had to make a call this last week to talk to a customer service thing about something. It wasn't about buying something, but something else. And yeah, and the guy was really helpful. And I said in the middle of it, you're really helpful. I really appreciate it a lot. And he said, oh, well, this company gives very good employee training. They teach you to do lots of things so that when somebody calls, you know how to help them. And so we chatted for a moment or two, just like that. It was very interesting. He said, I've worked at a lot of companies and this company gives the best training. Yeah. How often do you hear that from a stranger on the phone that you're talking to? Yeah. So, yeah, there's just ways to be friendly and bring sometimes just a little bit of happiness into somebody's life. Yeah. Yeah. There's many ways. You know, somebody's walking with heavy packages. Offer to help. Yeah. Somebody, needs help walking across the street. Help them. It's just so many small things, and we have to, we don't have to get a big ego about it. But it's good when we're training our mind to notice how to uh, offer service to others. It's good to rejoice when we succeed and rejoice in our own merit. That's important. Well, we got through one verse, and we even have time for another one, maybe. Wow. Okay, verse 5. Cultivate love and compassion and stabilize your bodhicitta. Relinquish the 10 negative actions and always reinforce your faith in the law of karma. Again, just a few words, but wow. Yeah, to unpack that and then to really integrate that in our life. Yeah, so cultivate love and compassion. Woo! Okay, love, wanting others to have happiness in its causes. Okay, sometimes we want them to have happiness, but we don't really want to help them to create the causes for that. Yeah, we want to just wish them happiness instead of think of what are the skills that they need to gain the happiness that they want. Okay. And, to think when we say, may all beings have happiness, what is happiness? Yeah. Do we fall back into obtaining the four of the eight worldly concerns and distancing ourselves from the other four? What does it mean to have happiness? What really are we wishing other people? Yeah. That they're rich and famous and, yeah, have a wonderful family life and everybody thinks they're great. But we don't think about their future life. We don't think about karma. If we want people to create the causes of happiness, yeah, that's virtuous actions. Then we need to encourage them in virtuous actions. But often what's quite interesting is we discourage people's virtuous actions. Somebody wants to make a donation, to a charity or to some worthwhile project. And then we say, oh, but if you give the money, then the family won't have it. Save the money, then we can go on a vacation together. Yeah. And we think that is helping the other person. Rather, actually, what we're actually doing is encouraging their stinginess because we're stingy. Okay. People often ask after a dear one dies, they all say, what can I do? What can I do? How can I help this person have a good rebirth? Yeah. What prayer do I say? Yeah. How many times do I say it? Just give me something to say. Yeah. No. if we want our friends and relatives to be happy in future lives, while they're alive, encourage them to abandon negativities and to practice virtuous actions. Encourage their generosity. Yeah. And discourage their anger. When they're angry, don't take their side and say, yeah, that guy was really awful to you. Let's go get him. No, help your friend, kind of release their anger and relax. Okay, so to really think about what is happiness, when we wish people happiness, what is the cause of happiness? Do we really wish people to create the cause of happiness now so that they'll have it in future lives? Or do we want them now in this life to do what we want so that we're happy and they're happy? You getting what I'm saying, So to really want others to have happiness in its causes. When it says love, it is not referring to romantic love. It is not referring to you are head over heels and there's one special person in your life that you are totally devoted to because they're the best thing since sliced bread. No. Yeah. That's attachment. That's not love. With genuine love, what we want to do is, work for people's happiness. It doesn't matter who they are. Yeah, everybody's the same in wanting happiness and not wanting pain. So we just do what we can depending on the relationship we have with each person, to give them happiness when we can, and encourage them to create the cause of it. Yeah. And then compassion. Yeah. So cultivate compassion. Compassion is the wish for sentient beings to be free of misery and the causes of misery. Yeah. And so again, what is suffering? Yeah. We use the word suffering in Buddhism a lot, but I sometimes wonder how many people really understand what it means. Because when we hear the word suffering, and this is why I think the English word suffering is not a very good translation for the Pali and Tibetan word dukkha. Suffering, we think, refers to what I call the ouch kind of suffering, what is commonly known as suffering in this world. You have bad health, you're poor, you're cold, you're miserable, your relationship just broke up, you can't get the job you like, or you lost your job. We always think of suffering like that. Yeah. But if you've studied Buddhism, you know that there's 3 kinds of dukkha. Okay. And that kind of ouch suffering is the first kind. Everybody can recognize that as misery. Okay. But the second and third kinds, people often don't recognize as dukkha, as unsatisfactory or undesirable experiences. Why? Because the second one, is actually what in the world we call happiness. Okay, so the misery of samsaric happiness, meaning here. Okay, it doesn't mean that being happy is wrong or cruel, and to be a good Buddhist, you have to be miserable because you're not allowed to be happy. Okay, that it does not mean that. What it means is that what we normally say is happiness in a worldly way doesn't actually cut it. It doesn't give us the kind of lasting happiness that we want. Okay? So you have, your chocolate ice cream, but then your chocolate ice cream is over. It's done. And you're left with either a stomach ache or wanting more. And if we get what's very interesting about this kind of suffering is we look in our lives and we say, oh, getting XYZ, this will really make me happy. Okay. Like, I want a new iPhone. Yeah, everybody wants iPhones, huh? So you want a new iPhone. You guys don't look so excited. Yeah. Well, that's because we don't allow people at the Abbey to have iPhones. Isn't that suffering? Oh, so suffering. You can't have an iPhone. Okay, but, we get what we want, but the happiness we get from it doesn't last. And if we keep doing the same thing that initially made us happy, if we keep doing it, at the end of the day, we're going to feel miserable. Yeah. The first bite of chocolate ice cream is good. A few more bites is good. But if you eat chocolate ice cream all day, what are you going to feel like? Yeah. You just met Mr. Wonderful. You are in love. You want to be with them forever and ever, never 1 minute apart. Okay, so imagine that. You're with that person 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, no separation. Yeah. Are you going to be forever happy being with that person all the time, where you have no privacy and no time to yourself? Yeah, no, that's not going to make you happy. In fact, the longer you're with them, the more you would really like a break from them. Okay, so that's the second kind of happiness. And then the third happiness is just that in samsara, we have a body and mind that are under the influence of afflictions and karma. Yeah. So that means we don't have control and total freedom over what we experience at one moment. We have the opportunity to create the cause for future happiness, but we want the ability to create the cause for happiness in the very next moment. But with a body and mind controlled by afflictions and karma, that's impossible to do. So also this third kind of dukkha, the dukkha of pervasive conditioning, what it also refers to is in samsara, in a fortunate rebirth like we have, we're always walking along the edge of a cliff. Yeah. We're always one step away from falling over, falling off, getting hurt. Yeah. So this is the nature of being under the control of afflictions and karma. Yeah. All it needs is one big or small change in circumstances, and whatever happiness we had is now gone. Yeah. So, very good examples of this are people who go mountain climbing and then get hurt, or people who go skiing and then are injured, or who knows what. Yeah. But it's so easy to be in a comfortable state and then something negative ripens. Yeah. So those last two kinds of suffering, last two kinds of dukkha, we often don't think of when we generate compassion. We just think, may people, always have, may they not suffer from hunger, may they not suffer from thirst. So definitely we should think those things about, and try and eliminate the actual suffering that exists in the world that people have. But as Buddhist practitioners, we shouldn't just think that eliminating that level of suffering is all that generating compassion entails. Yeah. Generating compassion is big. Yeah. And it involves, sometimes it can involve risking our own reputation or risking somebody else hating us for what we did when we're trying to steer them in the right direction instead of the direction of creating negative karma. Okay. So being a compassionate requires quite a bit of courage and quite a bit of inner strength. Some people think, oh, compassion is just being a wimp. It means, oh, you want this, yeah, so I'll give it to you. They think compassion is being a people pleaser, giving everybody what they want. Mm-mm. When somebody wants something that is going to harm themselves or harm other people, it is not compassion to give that to them. We have to be willing to risk their disapproval and upset to say no, because saying no is actually the most compassionate thing to do in that situation. Yeah. One example, I mean, this is a fairly drastic example, but a few months ago, there was a high school student, maybe junior high student, who he really wanted a gun. Young man wants a gun. So his dad took him out and bought him a gun as a present. Okay. Then this kid in the next week went to school, and there was another school shooting, and he killed, I forget how many classmates and teachers. But his dad thought that he was being kind to his son because his son wanted a gun. And what he actually did was set up the whole situation. This kid's probably they're gonna try him as an adult. Yeah, and who knows if he'll ever get out of prison. Yeah, and what's interesting in this particular case is because the father got him a gun, and because the day of the shooting, before he started shooting, a teacher noticed that he had been looking on his iPhone for about ammunition and reported it to the school office. Yeah, which caused them to call his parents. And his mother, when they called the mother, at first the mother just texted her son and said, yeah, you just have to learn not to get caught. Yeah. So the father buys the gun. The mother says, you just have to learn not to get caught when the kid is caught researching ammunition in school. So the kid killed a bunch of people in the school, and he's going to get tried as an adult. And what's interesting is this is maybe the first case where they are charging also the parents. Yeah, charging the parents as accomplices. Yeah, something like that. They have some legal something. Because they provided the circumstances for him to do that. Yeah. And after the kid did the shooting at the school, the parents tried to go into hiding. Yeah, they got caught. Yeah, the police found them. But they tried to go into hiding. They didn't even apologize for what they did or what their child did. Yeah. Okay, so compassion means you have to be willing, to in this kind of case, saying to the child, no, I'm not going to get you a gun. And we're going to talk to a therapist about this, or a counselor, because that child, why do they want a gun? Who knows? But it's not going to be it's not going to be because they want to do something good. Okay. So to really, reach out and help a child like that instead of providing them with what they want. Yeah. So these are drastic situations that I'm using as examples, but they're also true. Yeah. Okay. Cultivate love and compassion. Second line, and stabilize your bodhicitta. So we're in the process of generating bodhicitta. Yeah. So we need to generate it again and again and again. Yeah. Just to be able to cultivate bodhicitta. It's not that you sit down and you think, bodhicitta, oh, now I have bodhicitta. I want to become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. What's next? No, that's not how it happens. Okay? We need to really meditate on the various methods for generating bodhicitta. Yeah. And even though it is contrived bodhicitta, it may not be a burning aspiration at this time in our life, but even just, creating it deliberately, artificial or contrived bodhicitta, even that creates incredible merit, and it starts the process of familiarizing our mind with that kind of thought. Yeah. And then to stabilize it, we need to meditate on it again and again, and especially to cultivate deep concentration. Yeah, to cultivate shamatha, sometimes translated as calm abiding, but I prefer to call it concentration or meditative stabilization. Yeah. Or no, actually, sorry, I'm confusing myself. Yeah. What I usually translate it as is serenity, having a mind that is serene and clear and can hold the object for a long period of time. Okay. So to stabilize our compassion, we need to be able to, or stabilize our bodhicitta, we need to do that. Okay, I want to leave a few minutes for questions and maybe answers. So right now we're going to pause and see if, do you have a system for doing questions, typing it in the chat box, or maybe somebody, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
If anybody has a question online, feel free to unmute yourself, or if you type it in the chat box, I can convey that to Venerable Chodron.
Don't be shy. This is your chance. All the people here look at the people on the screen. You people don't have questions? You're not thinking about the teachings? You're looking at other people to see?
I have a question, Venerable.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the teaching. And
could you wave your hand so I could find you on
yes,
the screen?
yeah.
Okay, now I see you. Thank you.
So thank you so much. I'm Steve. I'm a member of Tara Institute in Melbourne. And I loved your presentation on the 8 worldly concerns, because they're pretty strong in my mind. And I find that I'm on both sides of them. If I'm doing some work, and my work is mainly writing, sure, I have good intentions to help people, but I also feel that it'll add to my reputation, or it'll achieve something for me as well. Do you feel that that's, from your experience, Venerable, is that where most of us are? And do you have some thoughts on what we need to do?
Maybe I don't know about everybody, but I can say many people are at that point. Yeah. And it's kind of, yeah, I have a good motivation, and maybe I'll get something good for myself in the process of it. Yeah. And what we really hate, because I write too, is they return your manuscript and it's all filled with track changes, crossing this out, crossing that out, comment here, comment there. Every single paragraph, they're correcting something. Yeah, that one's really, we don't like. But that's a very good example. People are doing that to help us. They do it so we can write something that's good, that makes sense. But when we get the manuscript back, we feel like they're our enemy criticizing us, right? You know, instead of really saying, oh, that person's helping me. Because I know for myself, you know, how did I learn to do any kind of coherent writing? It was, you know, my teachers in grade school and college, and who marked up my papers. Yeah. And if they didn't do that, I wouldn't have improved. So, okay, back to our motivation. Yeah. So we want to try as much as possible to have, for the benefit of all sentient beings, even if it's contrived. If we can't get there, because it's just too much thinking of all sentient beings and leading them to enlightenment, I mean, that's a pretty big promise. Then start by thinking, I want to make a positive contribution to society. Yeah. Who I want to, because in society, there are going to be some people who are receptive to, in your case, what you're writing. So may what I'm writing reach those people who are receptive, who need to hear this at this time in their life, and may it really benefit them and ease their misery when they read what I've written. So you start out with that motivation, yeah? And when the thought comes of, will I get an award? Yeah. Will I get a Pulitzer? Wow. Well, okay, I know, forget about Pulitzers, but yeah. Oh, will I get an award? How many people will buy my book? Will I get a lot of royalties from it? Oh, I hope so. Yeah, what's a jazzy title to make people want to buy the book? I don't really care if they read it, they just need to buy it. Yeah. So when those kind of thoughts come in the mind, yeah, then look at yourself and say, whoa, this is not where I want my mind to go. Even, even suppose you get a Pulitzer or you get some reward for your fantastic whatever it is you're doing. Just remember, that's nice, but it's not going to make me everlastingly happy. And it's not going to get me a good rebirth. I mean, what's really important in my life? Okay, it may get me a piece of paper to hang on the wall so I can go around like, look at my piece of paper on the wall. Yeah. But is that really going to make me happy? Yeah. What really will make me satisfied? What do I really want to feel coming out of doing this project? And then when you look inside, it's like, well, what do I really want to have coming out of it? I want to know that I did something useful for other people. Yeah, because some award, with your trophy, your piece of paper on the wall, or your, whatever brass object they give you, it's like, that's not going to make it. Yeah, that, no. Yeah, what I really want is my own internal feeling of having done something useful. And if other people say, thank you, I really like what you wrote, that gives you a little bit more feeling of, oh, that's nice. I did do something meaningful for somebody else. Yeah. But we don't have to go, oh, I'm so wonderful. Other questions? Yeah.
Venerable,
Okay.
there is a question online. I wasn't sure if that
Okay.
was.
Yeah, whoever it is, wave your hand so I can find you on the screen. Oh, okay.
It's in the chat, so I'll read that to you.
Okay.
From Nicole, what is the best approach to our samsaric obligations, such as work, when we feel our work in the system is keeping us in a rut?
Okay, say that again. Read the question again.
What is the best approach to our samsaric obligations, such as work, when we feel our work in the system is keeping us in a rut?
Okay, so what is our samsaric obligation when you're working and you feel like your work is just keeping you in a rut? Get another
Yes.
job. Why not? Why not? You're not nailed to that job. If, there's many things you can do. And I'm sure, you're a knowledgeable person, you're talented. Look for a job that you would enjoy doing. Don't stay with a job that is just going to make you totally miserable. That's no way to live, where you're just like drudgery going to do that. Yeah, get another job. Yeah. I was at a public talk with His Holiness Dalai Lama one time, and somebody in the audience said, asked His Holiness, said, I really can't stand my boss at work. What do I do? And His Holiness said, get another job. Yeah, it's not that difficult. Okay. Yeah. Oh, she said something first. Okay.
Venerable, each one of these lines we could take and really focus our life on. And coming out of retreat this year, I'm starting to feel frustrated that I've already lost some of what the focus was of the retreat. And there's so many things that I would love to put my attention on. And sometimes I really don't know how to prioritize, because there's emptiness, there's bodhicitta, there's the 8 worldly concerns. There's so many things. Everything in the Dharma needs to be focused on. So
Yeah.
how do you work with that?
Well, we usually worry about what to focus on best and what our priority is, so we don't really focus on anything except trying to figure out what we should focus on. You know, we spin around. You know, His Holiness always says emptiness and compassion. Yeah. But if you look at that, you know, to focus on compassion, you have to focus on all sorts of other things before that. To focus on emptiness, you need to focus on a lot of other things before that too. Yeah. So sometime, you know, focus on the preliminary things that you need to cultivate. Yeah. And then just a little bit on the final thing. You getting what I'm saying? You know, like, okay, I want to, you know, I want to cultivate bodhicitta. Well, I can sit down and do the, let's say, the 7-point instruction, cause and effect instruction. But to really get a feeling for that, I have to know the disadvantages of samsara. If I don't have any awareness of the disadvantages of samsara, my compassion isn't worth anything. Okay, so I have to be sure, you know, to review, yeah, the disadvantages of samsara. So sometimes you just review it and then spend most of your session, let's say, on compassion. Other times you may really spend a lot of time on the disadvantages of samsara and then a little bit of time on compassion. But it's quite helpful to do things every day. Yeah. And then also in the break time to try and be aware of what you're focusing on and bring it to mind. Yeah. But I think a lot of people have problem figuring out, I mean, because there's so much to meditate on and it's hard to figure out what do I do now? Yeah. And some days what we need to do is just whatever the problem is in our mind on that particular day, deal with that problem in our mind. You know, you wake up, you're in a bad mood, you're discontent, you feel like you're irritable. Yeah, okay. You know, I may want to, you know, do whatever practice, but right now I need to work on, you know, transforming my mind so that I have a good attitude towards other people. That's the most important thing. Yeah. So, yeah, we have all sorts of fantastic ideas of everything we want to meditate on, and everything's so exciting, and you know, and then, but then we just need to start somewhere, and you know, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and put it together, and be satisfied instead of, I want the perfect meditation practice. Yeah. Okay, you had something.
Perhaps a similar kind of question.
What?
Perhaps a similar kind of question.
Okay.
In terms of the stabilize your bodhicitta, there's the 2 methods, and there's also working with whatever is arising in your mind that day.
Mhm.
And I was just curious how you've worked your way through, like systematically or not, cultivating that, whether like how, yeah, there's in each of the two methods, there's so many different points, and just how you approach working on that.
You do one, then you do the other, and you remember it during the day, during your daily actions. Yeah. Yeah. I know you want me to give you the perfect answer that will stop all the doubt and make it so that you don't have this conflict of what do I meditate on first. But I can't do that. I'm a failure. My reputation is shot. Are you cultivating compassion for me? No. Why not? Okay, people online? Any more questions? No? Okay.